Yoga and the gods. Who or what Shiva, Vishnu, Ganesha, and the others really are. You ever thought about that? If you practice yoga for a longer time, it is almost impossible to avoid them. Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, Ganesha, Hanuman, Lakshmi, Parvati, Krishna, Rama, and more are coming up. They appear in mantra stories, images, statues, and teachings. Some yoga postures are even named after them. And almost automatically the question arises, who or what are these gods actually really? And depending on who you ask, you get completely different answers. And that is exactly what makes this topic so interesting or fascinating, because there is not just one truth. There are many layers, many perspectives, interpretations, many traditions. And yoga itself does not exclude any of them. Humans does, but not yoga. Let us start with the oldest source, the mythological and religious interpretation. In the Vedic and Hindu scriptures, the gods are considered real divine beings. This view can be found in the Vedas, the Puranas, the Upanishads, the Mahabharata, and the Ramayana. Shiva is a god, the destroyer and renewer. Vishnu is the preserver. Brahma, the creator. Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance. Parvati, the divine mother. Ganesha, the remover of obstacles. Hanuman, the divine servant full of devotion. And many more exist. Millions of people around the world still worship these deities today as real cosmic intelligences. Temples, rituals, offerings, and festivals are expressions of this living tradition. If you want to look it up, check some sources like the Rig Veda, Shiva Purana, Vishnu Purana, Ramayana, or Mahabharata. Another interpretation, the philosophical yogic one, in the Upanishads and later in yoga and tantra, the perspective shifts a bit. Here the gods are not only seen as external beings, but also as principles of consciousness. Shiva is pure awareness, Parvati or Shakti is energy, sometimes a female energy. Vishnu is order and balance. Brahma is the creative impulse. Ganesha is the intelligence that recognizes and integrates obstacles. This view is strongly present in Kashmir Shaivism, Tantra, and Advaita Vedanta philosophy. The gods are not separate beings here, but expressions of one consciousness. If you want to look it up, like I said, I named some. Check the Upanishad Shiva Sutras, or Spanda Karikas, or Abhinavagupta. I hope I pronounced it right, friends. Otherwise, correct me, please. We have also the psychological interpretation. In modern times, especially Western thinkers began to understand the gods as inner images. Carl Gustav Jung described them as archetypes of the collective unconscious, primordial images that appear in all cultures. Shiva as the archetype of the observer, Parvati as a kind of life energy, Ganesha as integrative intelligence, Hanuman as loyal devotion, Lakshmi as an inner sense of abundance. Here the gods do not exist outside of us, but within the human psyche. You want to look it up? Check, for example, C.G. Jung, I think it was Psychology and Alchemy, and Man and His Symbols. Then we have the energetic and yogic practice interpretation. Yup, many modern yoga teachers speak of gods as energetic qualities. For example, Shiva is stillness, Shakti is movement, Vishnu is breath and rhythm, Ganesha is grounding in the nervous system, Lakshmi is heart opening and gratitude. Mantras are not understood here as prayers, but as sound frequencies that activate certain states in the body. This view is represented by teachers such as Swami Satyananda, Swami Shivananda, even Sadhguru, also if I don't want to name him, but he also speaks about that. The Sri T. Krishnamacharya tradition, and sources like Hatha Yoga Pratipika, Kundalini Yoga texts, and Mantra Yoga Samhita is writing and talking about that. We have also the archaeological and cosmic interpretation. Yeah. In Vedic astrology, Jyotish, gods are directly associated with planets. Surya is the sun, Chandra, the moon, Shani, Saturn, Brihaspati, Jupiter, Shukra, Venus, Mangala, Mars. Here, the gods represent cosmic forces that operate both in the universe and within the human being. This perspective connects mythology with astronomy and energy. If you want to look it up by your own, check sources like Vedic astrology texts or Brihad Parashara Hora Shastra. We have the historical and cultural interpretation. Some historians view the gods as defied natural forces or defied human beings. Shiva as an ancient nature god from pre-Vedic times, Vishnu as a solar deity, Krishna and Rama as possibly real historical figures who were later mythologized. This view is represented in the academic study of religion. If you want to look it up by your own, I think Mircea Eliade, Wendy Doniger, History of Indian Religions, they all talk and write about it. And we have the frequency and consciousness interpretation. Yeah, we are diving into the spiritual and new age bubble. Gods are seen as pure vibrations, one say. Shiva as the frequency of stillness, Lakshmi as the frequency of abundance, Ganesha as the frequency of order, Hanuman as the frequency of the heart. Mantras are understood here as sound codes. You can check it out in Mantra Yoga, Modern Spiritual Bubble Schools, Sound Healing Traditions. And this little New Age bubble is also mixing up with the ancient astronaut and alien interpretation. There's also the theory that the gods were extraterrestrial beings, aliens. Flying machines such as Vimanas are proof of that. They say celestial weapons they have used, beings with extraordinary powers. Representatives of these views include the well-known Eric von Däniken or Zecharia Sitchin, but also Praveen Mohan's talking about that, or I think a David Icke. You can check them out if you like. Build your own perspective on that. This interpretation does not come from the yoga tradition itself, but is a modern reading of ancient text. Books would be ancient astronaut literature or interpretations of the Vedas and Puranas, maybe. Then we have the integrative yoga view. Many yogic traditions today say all of these levels can be true at the same time. A god can be a story, an energy, an archetype, a cosmic force, and a spiritual experience. Yoga does not force you to decide. Yoga does not ask, do you believe in this? But rather, what do you experience? Maybe Shiva is a god, maybe a state of consciousness, maybe both. Yoga leaves the space open. Or perhaps we simply do not have 100% certain sources of it. However, one wants to see or name it. Many people see things differently. And just like yoga itself, human beings are individual and their perspectives change. And that is exactly why these gods have maybe survived for thousands of years. They do not tell single stories, they tell many and different ones. And each person interprets them differently. And every one of them can be a doorway. Or what do you think? What feels most likely or logical to you? Were these aliens? Are they frequencies, archetypes, gods as described in the scriptures? Or does human perception simply change over time and circumstances, depending on the stage of development someone is in? Or maybe they are none of these things at all? I'm looking forward to your feedback, to your opinion. See you around. See you soon.